All opinions and comments expressed by the hosts and guests of this podcast are solely those of the individual speakers and do not represent the views or positions of any theater or theatrical organization with which they may be affiliated. Welcome to the ACT Podcast, Actors Creating Together, a podcast dedicated to theater here in the South Texas area. And now, here are your hosts, Jessica, Cameron, and Mario.
And welcome to episode 7 of Actors Creating Together. I'm Jessica, and we've got Mario and Cameron, and our guest today, who is a choreographer. Why do I have such a hard time with that word? I have to read the word in my head as I say it. Mr. Brandon Besse.
Hello. Sorry. I've never been on a podcast before.
Welcome.
So say hi.
But we're really happy to have you, and we'll be talking about choreography. He is a teacher for
Mary Carroll High School, the theater arts director there. But besides just being a theater teacher, I am at first just an artist. I like to direct. I like to choreograph. I write plays. I write stories. I do a little bit of everything. And I act sometimes.
Yes.
What about that?
You do act, and you do a phenomenal job.
You do.
So, then we also have our topic that we're going to go into after the interview questions, talking about character acting and getting to know your character and deep diving. Would you like to read off the exact title there for us, Mario?
Yeah, so the topic's going to be Character Development Deep Dive, methods actors use to build authentic, believable characters. So that'll be our topic.
That'll be the topic after we do our interview here. And then Brandon's going to stick around, as the students know him as Mr. Besse. He's going to stick around and talk about it with us, and we're really excited to have him. So with diving into that, let's start with our first questions.
Okay, Brandon. So we're going to put your feet to the fire here. We're going to tell you some questions or ask you some questions. First off, before we ask you any other questions about what you're doing right now, tell us a little bit about yourself and what your history is.
So, in a nutshell, I started doing theater on accident. In middle school, all my friends were doing it, and they told me that they got to leave school for a day. So I auditioned and got in, so I didn't have to go to school. And then, for whatever reason, I did enjoy it. And then I learned there's so much more to it. I saw a lot of plays at the contest that I went to, and they were good, and I was entertained, so I kept doing it. Eventually decided I wanted to study it, and so I got my Bachelor's of Arts in theater with an emphasis in acting and directing at TAMUCC, Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi, where I also got my minor in dance and my Texas teaching certificate all at the same time. And so that's actually when I started formal dance training. My first introduction to dance was at my high school. We had a salsa dance club, but I don't know if that really
That sounds fun.
It was actually so much fun, but I just ended up getting busy with finding out that I liked theater. So I started doing more theater, and everything else kind of took a back seat slowly. But then I found more dance whenever I went to the university on the island, and I learned from some really great professors like Jalissa Cotton, Sarah Gonzalez. They're both really Shawnee Jones Bonnet also, she's really awesome. Kate Burrell. Sorry, I'm just shouting out everybody that I love right now. But they are a big reason that I found not just dance but also choreography too.
You're gonna have to go and tag them whenever this airs, and
I will be bothering staff and reminding them how much they have helped me. So yeah, I just began to kind of throw myself into all of the performance arts. I really enjoy not just to act, but I love directing. I also really do love designing shows. I mean, as a teacher, I have to design a lot of my own shows. Luckily, I do have more room to collaborate now, but I really enjoy all the different parts of it. I've stage managed before, I've acted. I like to write plays, so I do it all when I have the time. Jack of all trades, master of none, but often better than mastering or something like that. Yeah, it's it's good to be well-rounded, is what people kept telling me. So.
Well, I've seen now 3 shows that you've choreographed, and it has blown me out of the water each time. They're absolutely wonderful, amazing shows, and the choreography has been just breathtaking. I think my favorite was Beauty and the Beast,
Yes, that was my first musical to choreograph for Corpus Christi
and you
ISD.
did an amazing job. It was
Thank
beautiful,
you. I got to
absolutely
do
beautiful.
that. I'm gonna shout out someone else that was co-choreographer with Brianna Mota. We
Okay.
actually studied dance together at the island, and now she's teaching in the district too. So we got to work together, and that was also a lot of fun. She's great.
That's cool.
So, do you consider yourself more of a theater actor, a teacher, or choreographer,
Ooh.
or all three?
Definitely all of them. I think of myself just firstly as a creative. I'm just an artist, and my art just kind of depends on the day and what the show is that I decide to do. There's been many moments where I have felt more like a director. I feel like that is like my strength. And then there's other moments where I watch other people direct in front of me. With the I'm working on a show as a choreographer right now, and I'm watching the director's work, and sometimes I watch them and I'm like, wow, I still have a lot to learn as a director. So then I think maybe I am just like a really like valuable choreographer, but I think I'm just an artist always first. And whatever role I decide to play is up to me, I guess, at the time. So I don't know if I really prioritize one or the other. Okay, I'm a human. We'll go with that. I'm a human who really likes to create.
Amen.
That's great.
So, how long have you now been choreographing for or CCISD? Well, you said Beauty and the Beast was your first
Yes, so this is
CCISD one.
the musical is like it's a district-wide project. It's funded completely by Corpus Christi ISD. They have started to invest more in the performance arts, which we are really like grateful for, and it's really, really exciting. They uh, created this project a while back, and so this is now an opportunity for, I think it's pre-K, kinder, and first graders. They bus them over to the Veterans Memorial Auditorium to watch it for a field trip, and all of the students involved in it, they work on it throughout the fall semester. So it's a newer project, but Beauty and the Beast was my first one. Last year they did Finding Nemo, and this year we're doing Aladdin. So
Oh,
this will
the
be
summer one. Don't forget the summer one.
That is so true. Okay, so we normally do one in the fall, but they did add a summer musical this past summer. It just wrapped up in August. It was right before the school year started, and that was our very first time doing a summer musical since the fall one is geared towards the elementary students as a opportunity to watch theater and like be immersed in it. They wanted to give the kids an opportunity, our high school performers and middle school performers, to perform something with a little bit more meat. So we did Newsies Junior, and it was something a little bit more mature for them. So we forgot about that one. Thank you.
It was so good.
I
It
think
was
I choreographed.
Broadway material.
The kids really did like impress me, and I think everybody in there. It was really quite dazzling. I don't have any other word.
That makes me think of another question. So I spoke with Desiree Cantu a couple of weeks ago, and she's of course in charge of is it Metro Elementary,
Yes.
and she was telling me how she gets the kids involved with all the aspects of the show, not just the acting, like the production, the stage, making props, all those kind of things. Is that something that y'all do as the CCISD when y'all come together? Is that kind of all the schools come together and make the props and do all the things like it would be with the play? And
The musical project in particular is my favorite one that I do throughout the year because it is the most collaborative project we've ever had before. As high school theater directors, we are usually like isolated on our campus.
Hmm.
So I am on my campus with, am I'm fortunate to have another theater teacher on my campus, but not every high school is like that. So this is the one where all of the high school teachers, we all get to work together. So two high school directors. They co-direct together. I am just one of two choreographers. Well, I guess two and a half on this one. And all the other directors help out in either designing props or working for our PR and stuff like that. And then the kids themselves, they work tirelessly rehearsing, but we do have all student crew as well. And so everybody does pitch in at some point. And my favorite thing is seeing the directors like put all of the actors in makeup, even though we have like makeup crew students, but the directors will still be back there. I would help out with the makeup if I was better at blending, but I also help out where I can. I remember during Newsies, I was constantly like just sweeping the stage just to be helpful. If we have the time, we always try to pitch in where we can. We also have like 1,000 people in this production to make it happen because the big goal is just to always shoot for higher and better art. So it is very collaborative. It's got a lot of moving parts. So it's a lot of fun.
Before we go into non-CCISD questions, I do have one question. What is your favorite song you're choreographing for Aladdin right now?
That's actually really hard. Because originally I would say it was Prince Ali, and Prince Ali was so much fun to put together. And it still is a lot of fun, but we have worked so tirelessly on that number because it's got almost every actor in the show in that dance number.
Wow, that's huge.
And the cast is upwards of like 55 students, I believe. It's a pretty big cast. We had a lot of talent show up
Yeah.
to auditions, and it was really difficult for the directors and the rest of us because they do ask us for our thoughts and opinions when putting together that final list. But it was very difficult to like
I
really
imagine.
wean it down any further. So that number has been challenging purely for the sake of I've never dealt with that many dancers on stage before at one time. So that's been a big challenge. But it's the movement has been a blast to come up with. But my personal favorite, I think, is a very like underappreciated number, and it's Babkak Omar Aladdin Kasim, and it's Aladdin and his three best friends number that they sing in like the middle of the market square, and I got to work with just like the four friends, and then kind of plugged in the ensemble again for like an impromptu dance party that happens during the scene. And that one was just for whatever reason so much fun to come up with
I can't wait to see it.
because I only had four and I had to make it entertaining. So I had a blast with that one.
I imagine.
I don't know why. That one's
But those
not a very
characters.
popular song.
But those characters are hilarious.
They're super funny, and so I had so much fun. And then I let the kids throw out their ideas too. I let them create their own original little movements for their characters. I try to incorporate the dancers and actors' skills and ideas if I can. So it was a lot of fun, but it was definitely one that I didn't expect to love so much.
So, what other shows have you choreographed
This
besides ones from CCISD?
that's the oh my.
I know one off the top of my head.
I'm
So do I.
suddenly I'm suddenly realizing I've been doing this longer than I thought. And oh my goodness, my very first show that I did was at the Aurora Arts Theater. It was Cabaret. That one was a lot of fun. And I did another one. I've done two more at the Aurora, I think.
Wasn't
It's
one of them Putnam?
the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, yes. And Nonsense that just happened within this past year. I feel like I've done more, but maybe I'm wrong. It's been going for so long. But those are three more that I know I've done. And those were all done at the Aurora Arts Theater. And that's where I've done most of my musicals in the area.
So, what was it like for you, like choreographing like each of those shows, like your different experiences?
I think I approach each show very differently because as a director first, I started directing before I ever started choreographing. So choreographing for a musical that is rooted in like storytelling is a lot different than just choreographing like a dance concert that you would see like, at a ballet or anywhere else that's performing dance in New York. I saw some dance concerts up there, and it was just very artistic, very cerebral. But this is a different kind of dance. So, depending on the show, I usually jump into research of the show itself and like the time period, the style, and then I look at the influences of the music. Like with Cabaret, was that was so honestly one of the hardest experiences of my life. It was my first musical ever, and I felt like a fraud the whole time, but it was so much fun, but also so stressful. And so I was just trying to do my best and pay homage to the original style with like Fosse. So I like immersed myself in Fosse for like a good like 2 months, and it was in the middle of my school year, so that was like also um, just like all of my free time was gone. But I was completely like transported to a whole other style that I never knew I needed. So it's like a lot of research, a lot of sitting alone with myself, figuring that out. And then I jump into just moving around to the music, and then I record myself constantly if I do something I like. And then eventually I just start chaining together combinations. And then when I put it on stage, it all changes because the set will get there. And I'm like, oh man, I didn't know there was a table here. So then I just start subtracting movement, and I start moving dancers and moving characters in a way that I think just helps tell the story. So
But if there is something in your way, like a table or a chair, will you try to incorporate that into the dance?
if it makes sense, I'm never gonna force myself to do something that I don't think quite is warranted. But if I can, yeah, I will be the first person to ask my director, is this table sturdy enough for two more dancers to be on there? They're usually going to say no, but I think it's worth asking.
So, as a choreographer, what do you do when you work with the director? How do you decide on certain? Do you all come together, or does that person have the final say? What do you?
Uh, I always make it a point when I'm choreographing to go up to my director and ask them what they envision, what they want, because at the end of the day, the director is responsible for the overall vision of the show. And I do believe in separation of roles in theater. The director has their job, the choreographer, the actors, everybody has their place. Of course, collaboration is wonderful, but I always tell my students, and this might sound really mean, so if they're listening, but I'll definitely ask them for their thoughts and opinions sometimes on staging, and sometimes they'll give it when I don't ask, and I'll always remind them, like, that's a really awesome opinion I didn't ask for. Uh, but thank you, I'll keep it in my head. So I always go to them first and ask them what they want. So that way I can do the best that I can to bring their vision to life. Because it's all about them in those production meetings.
So, we've got a little surprise for you, Mr. Besse.
Mm.
We've got your lovely character Babcock here, who's going to ask you some silly questions from the cast.
Where did this person come from? I don't know. It's so spontaneous. I just
For those who do not know, Isabella is my daughter, and so she is playing Babcock in Aladdin, and it is truly, like Mr. Besse was saying earlier, such a fun song. Babcock, Omar, and Kasim, such a great song. I've got to see some of the stuff Bella's recorded, and it's hilarious. But with all that, Babcock slash Isabella is going to start with some funny questions from the crew.
Question number 1.
Okay.
Why does it take you so long to choreograph a dance?
Okay. I can't tell if that one's a read or not.
No, it was. It was a read. I didn't come up with these.
Okay, so I would like to go back to the question that Cam asked me about what's my process. I do a lot of research, okay, and
Okay,
with the
so-
show,
Mhm.
like Aladdin, that is rooted in like a real culture, I have been spending a lot of time looking at all the different styles of dance that originate from the Middle East to be as respectful as possible.
Okay, talented.
And I was like, I don't know if this one's a factor of talent, just out of respect, but and research. But yeah, that's why it's been taking me a while. And I try to always create original movement. I don't like to steal from any production if I can help it.
Mhm.
Ideas are one thing, movement's another. So I'm constantly creating original movement in the middle of my kitchen, by the way. I have to roll my kitchen island out of the way and make room, and I use my microwave glass as a mirror. So that's another reason that takes a
Okay.
long time. Smart.
Period. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. No, I'm not gonna ask that one.
He looks so offended.
I'm scared of what it was.
Do you Vevix?
I do not. Maybe when it calls for it.
Do you what?
Will you Vevix?
It's the will you wear wigs question. No, I don't really wear wigs unless it calls for maybe Halloween if someone gives me a costume idea.
When will you Vevix?
Just said Halloween. Sorry, that sounded really aggressive.
Next week.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
Okay,
Okay. Do you enjoy working with your current students?
definitely. I can't say no, so I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
I'm totally kidding. That's my sense of humor if you don't know me. But no, I really do enjoy working with my students on my campus, and I actually really adore the musical project because I get to work with students from other campuses. And at this point, I'm like, you do not go to my school, but it's like you might as well because I see you so often and we work together so much, and I feel that this project is really beautiful because of that. I like being able to see all the kids come
And you
together.
guys got to work together this summer on a show, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
In this community, it's super tight knit.
It is.
So it's a really lovely thing. Yeah.
Okay. Are we actually talented? Or do you lie to us because you have to?
So talent is subjective. And that was another joke, if you can't tell. No, I do think you are all very, very talented. And I say that coming from a big place of truth because I could never do what you guys are doing in this musical, like at y'all's age. Like me, like teenage Mr. Besse would not have done this show at all because he didn't have the guts or the talent. And I think that already says so much more. I think the fact that we also have like the largest cast we've ever had just says something about the talent.
Gosh. Yeah, we started off with 72.
There was more, yes. And it's because everybody at auditions really did prove themselves worthy. It was super difficult. So no, I'm not lying. I generally mean what I say. Unless I say that there's a joke afterwards.
And I believe you. Okay, and then for the last one from all of us as a cast, if you could choreograph any musical, what musical would you do?
That one's really tough because I think I've already choreographed like my dream musical, and I think it was Cabaret. But
Girl.
I'm gonna top it off because this is another one that I'm really dying to do, and I'm trying to make it happen one way or another. But I really, really would love to choreograph Chicago.
I agree, thank you. Thank you. I do agree. I do agree.
Agreed.
For a future reference and just for a manifestation, if you will, for my last CCISD show, since there is a chance to do the summer musical at Chicago, I am manifesting. You better keep this. You better keep this in. Either Roxy or Velma. I am hoping the directors see this. Thank you very much.
This is a podcast. They can't say anything.
They could, but
They can hear it. It's a podcast. They can't say
Oh,
anything.
Did I say? Oh, I meant hear. I hope they hear this. And I hope they hear me. And I hope they hear my passion. And I hope they hear how much I want this. Thank you very much.
Yes, Chicago's on the list for me personally. I don't know of any institution who has it in their plan for the upcoming year. But
I could not see that as a high school show.
there is a
I can't.
there is a teen edition.
There is a teen edition?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, there is.
What, like, did they have to take out Pop 6 Cicero?
Nope.
No, it's still there. I think there might be some lyric changes and like little
yeah, I
things
was gonna
like
say
that.
there's put lines in there.
And yeah,
flyers. He says.
If you all could see my face right now, I am
He looks shocked.
putting that into a teen version sounds awful.
No, it's not.
can't be any
not, though.
cringier than Heather's teen edition.
Very true.
But
Truth.
I do think Chicago's a great show just because I like immersed myself in Bossy for like a long time during cabaret, I would like to explore it some more. I think Chicago would be fun.
When I did college speech debate for my college, I actually, in my duo, we did Chicago as a duo in competition. It was pretty cool. I'll have to show you.
Mm-hmm.
It's recording? No, but I'll have to like explain it to you and show you how we did it. But we did it. It's pretty
So
cool.
draw pictures.
Oh my gosh. I'll draw pictures. Yeah. So, well, that wraps up, I do believe, the interview portion of our segment here. So, thank you so much. We are going to keep you around for the rest of the show. But that is our interview for now.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we're going to delve into our topic this week. And this week's topic is character development deep dive. We're going to deep dive into the development of characters in plays. So, methods actors use to build authentic, believable characters. Let's go around the room here and we'll start with our guest, Brandon.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting. Well, I'm first of all honored that you went to me at all and that you decided to keep me around. I appreciate that. Funny enough, so like I said, I'm also a theater director. I am an actor. I do it all. I like it. It's a lot of fun. But I'm actually working on this with my students right now in class. I think for me, at least, my biggest priority obviously is to sit with that script. I do just a lot of analysis before I like get up. Like what is it? Table work is the operative word that people use nowadays. But I like to sit down with my script and don't just look at what I'm saying or what my character's saying. I like to look at what the other characters say about my character, and then I just kind of fill in the gaps. I always turn to the Uta Hagenstein questions, right? Who am I? What time is it? All of those things, and just fill it all in. And I like to approach my character physically first, and create them, like make sure that they walk differently than I do, make sure that they have different mannerisms, things like that, because I think physical choices really get you started and they kind of inform everything else.
Mhm.
So I think if you can start by making your character move and behave physically and try to create them that way, that everything else will kind of follow suit. It's a really, I think it was that's part of like the Stanislavski method, which is like one of my favorite methods of character analysis. I don't know. That's what I like to use. I always approach physically first. I try to make my character not me, because that's the point of theater, right? It's to escape.
Sure.
Sometimes I don't want to be
Absolutely.
me anymore. I would like to be whoever it is that's on this script, and I need them to move differently, and that usually helps me get started.
Yeah, I think that's like what I loved about or love about theater so much, and in high school getting into it is you get to escape the reality of life and be somebody else completely. So yeah, diving deep into that character and getting to know that character inside and out, what their history is and their voice. I think getting their voice down and how you want them to sound is so important in the beginning of your memorization of the script. When I direct, I like to do, of course, your read through your first day. And if, the actor goes into voice on day one, cool, great. But I'm not going to adjust it or do anything on day one through the read through. But then we'll do table work, as you put it. Table work for 1 or 2 more days, do first act table work and then act two table work, and really ask the actors to get into that voice and understand their character and read through it a couple of times into that voice that they want their character to have. So that as they're memorizing it and they're playing with it and we're doing blocking, that you are blocking as that character and having fun with it. And of course, you don't get to have total fun with it until you're off script, and get deep into the nitty-gritty of the show and polishing it up, but so vital and so important.
Kevin?
So for me, I like to look at the synopsis of the character, like how they're described. Basically, like if they're described as, oh, this person has like years of like harsh times, like and has developed like anger, I try like to kind of like bring that out into the character if I'm able to. Um, like for I know I mentioned this like a couple times before, but like my side story, like my character had like a very small thing. It just described him as the pretty boy of the group, basically. And so that gave me nothing at all. And so I just had to remember, like, oh, he's a gang member. He has to be tough. He's fighting the sharks. And like, I'm not that. I'm not tough. I'm a big old softy. Like, and so I had to remember, like, yeah, he's a gang member. He has to do like certain things, say certain things a certain way. And so I try to make him sound and look as tough as possible. I'm not sure
It
if
can be
that.
hard sometimes when it's not the natural of who you are. But yeah, but that's acting, you know?
Yeah.
But it's sometimes like the best part of it.
Yeah, and for Elf, I got cast as a fake Santa. And I have a line, like a very small line in a song where I have to sound angry. And our vocal director, Holly Brawley, she kind of got after me for that. It's like, I need you to sound angry. I need you to sound madder. It's like, ma'am, I'm trying my best here. Like, I'm not an angry person. I'm trying my best though.
That's funny.
And it was. I'm still like trying to get into that part. So, Mario.
Oh, well, I guess in plays, I guess for me it's a little bit different. I do film and I do theater as well. So in film, I have access to a script a little longer than maybe in a play. And though most plays that I've been in, I knew the character already, more or less, because I've seen either the production before, or I've seen the movie version of it before, so I kind of have an idea. But when I'm in a film and nobody's ever portrayed that before, and you've got to come and bring that character to life, that takes a little bit more time to analyze. There was a play. The first movie I did was called Muerte Tales of Horror, and in that movie I play a Cucuy, which is basically the Latino boogeyman.
Which I've watched, and it's super, super scary.
And that's what's
Like, you did a phenomenal job embodying a boogeyman.
Yes, well, thank you. So that took a lot of time researching, doing like Brandon does when he researches for dancing. I research for the story. This is a story that I grew up with when I was a kid because I'm being Latino. I had a grandmother who told me, if you don't behave, the cuckoo's going to get you. And you kind of grew up with that, like, oh, I better not. My grandmother knows, she don't mess around. And so, that was the kind of things. And so we always grew up with that, not knowing the whole tale about why he would come get you, right? When I got this script, I wanted to know more about him and bring that part out because in this movie, it's basically 3 or 4 different stories with a wraparound story around it. And so the Kukui has his own story, but there's not really any background why he does what he does, why he's a Kukui, and there is a reason why. And so I'm actually making the script to do that separately as a Kukui standalone movie, of just so we know his background, because not a lot of people know why he does what he does. And so I did a lot of that. And so using that in my mind, in the script, there was no singing at all, but I made like this nursery rhyme out of a couple of poems that were kind of to deal with what he was, and so I kind of just improvised and singing. And Chris Ambrose, the director, decided to keep that in there, and it kind of added a little bit of creepierness to it. And so that's what I kind of tackled roles that way. In theater, I was Dr. Scott, and I played Doc in West Side Story, and those two were approached a little bit different because I knew the character already. I've seen the character performed, and Doc goes through a lot of emotion, especially from the beginning where he's happy, and then things happen in the script and into second act where he changes his whole emotional state. And so that was something that I had never done on stage. Start one way and then end the play a whole different way. That took a lot to learn and to work on. I wish we had more time to do more of those shows because I think I was just getting my stride toward the end of it. But it was one of those things. I enjoyed it so much that you learn about yourself. You learn what you can do. Where you learn what your emotional range is what would you do in that situation, and I just kind of just asked myself those questions, and I think I brought a little bit of myself into that as well as that's me. I'll put that picture on the yeah,
I'm gonna screenshot this if it lets
it's
me.
pretty bad. But anyways, I digress. Anyways, but like I said, it's a lot easier when you know what the character is because you've seen somebody else do it, as opposed to you're going to be the first person to ever do this role and learn. Now you got to bring it to what are you going to make it scary? Are you going to make it to where it's accessible to people to understand what Kukui was, or do you want to make it your own? Do you want it? And so I got a lot of leeway with Chris. Chris allowed me to hey, just do it, and if it works, we'll do it. If not, we'll try something else. And he allowed me to do it, and like acting, adding that singing was something we weren't planning to do, but it adds a little bit creepiness to the character. So, anyway, I'm babbling,
I think that's pretty cool.
but
I think
that's my
everything
thing.
you said was really, really. It was a nice reminder. I tell my students all the time, I'm like, my theater class is very easy because I want theater to be accessible for everybody. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
But to do theater well or just to act well, and it's not easy at all, actually. So my class may be easy, but theater is hard. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah,
I hope they're listening. Uh, because it really is, there's so much that goes into it, like the research. I don't just like research when I choreograph. I try to put research into everything because there's so much to think about with creating a character, like their background, like you mentioned the kukui, which is all rooted in like folktales,
yeah,
right? And but every person that we have on this earth is like completely unique individual person and has just as much complexity as the person next to them, so to like think about this character you have on paper, just because they're on paper doesn't mean that they can't be completely real and realized
right.
as like
Mm-hmm.
the people around us. So there's so much to consider. Like you got to research, like, oh boy, like what does the script say about like their racial identity and their ethnicity, things like that. And Cameron, you were talking about how you're like, I'm just so not an angry person. I'm not a fighter, but sometimes you got to do things out of your comfort zone, and
Yeah.
like that can be really like challenging. But that's why, like, I really wish my theater ones could hear this right now because,
You
yeah,
should make this extra credit
There you
for
go.
the listen
maybe I
to.
will. Yeah, acting is hard.
Have them take notes.
They have to write a pair. Yeah, they have to write an
I don't know
essay.
if they're gonna want to do that, but I will throw it out there for them. Maybe some extra credit.
Yeah.
They're always asking about that, so I will throw that out there. But no, it gets there's so many things to consider. I always get lost in like the research. It's so much more like cerebral than people make it out to be because
Yeah.
it's acting is inherently a form of therapy and psychology because you were putting yourself in another person's head and
Right.
shoes physically and with their voice and think like they do. It's kind of beautiful because I think this is the reason that we have like more empathetic people is because if you get to be another character for a moment. Oh my god, be another person for a moment. There it is. In this character, you can understand their story and maybe it'll make you a bit more understanding towards other people's.
And also what I like about like deep diving into a character, sometimes you like say you have like a monologue and you find a monologue that you connect with, like you bring your own self out
Mm-hmm.
with just that. And even on stage, you get cast as a character that you connect to. Like, oh, I realized that this person went through the same thing I did. And it's like you throw your real self out into that character as well.
Yeah, it does make it a lot easier when you get a character you can really connect with.
And he also, at least with me, I know, uh, doing West Side Story because again, like he starts off in a happier mood, kind of a like I'm the kind of a surrogate father to this young man who doesn't have parents and they're in a gang and back in the '60s and all those kind of things. So he's kind of a surrogate father. So he wants to build this young man up, and then as it goes on, you see what happens throughout all that time. And at the end, his emotionals is like because he passes on. Spoiler alert, he dies. But the doc sees him dying at the end of our our production, I'm the last one standing on stage while they're taking them off, and I had to get to find that emotion where and it's really hard because I'm doing a screaming part right before that. I walk back out and I come back in, and I've got to be crying and emotional, and then to hold that throughout that time was a challenge for me. I didn't never had to do that before, and because when on film, hey, oh, you messed up, let's do another take. You do another take, you do another take, or we can edit, make it look like you were crying or doing something. This when you're on stage, you got to do it and figure it out.
I imagine it's way
And
hard.
it's hard. It was very hard for me to.
Mario, I'm actually gonna piggyback off that. When that one scene after Anita walks off stage after like she's being attacked,
Um,
it's just the Jets and Doc on stage. There was one moment where he just like screamed at us on stage in character though, but a lot of us jumped like, what was that?
Like really getting deep into it. Like he
Yes.
really brought it.
Yeah, he did. It was scary.
There's a lot that I mean, you're talking about having to hold that performance. I think there's, drawbacks to either theater or film in terms of like, capturing those moments because theater, like you have to immerse yourself from like the time the show starts and probably before that if you're doing it right. And to all the way to the end, whereas like I think it might be even more difficult to constantly be turning it on and off like in between takes on film. And I've done like a couple like commercials, nothing crazy, and but film like stresses me out in that regard, being able to like completely just turn it on and turn it off. But
It's physically exhausting to stay in character. I think one of my favorite things to do, and I did this on the last show and I recorded it, is watching the actors backstage right before they go on stage. And I did. I recorded it and sent it to them. I don't think I posted it anywhere, but watching them backstage, waiting on their cue to come on stage, and they're just themselves, relaxed, or they're shaking out their nerves, and then you can watch the switch of being themselves and relaxed or nervous to as soon as that cue is ready for them to go, you see their entire body change into their character right as they before they go on stage. And so I took video of them and they did not know I was recording them. I even have a video of you,
I
Brandon.
was about to say, I'm like, am I one of these people?
You are one of these people. I've got the video, I'll show you, but it's so cool just to sit there and watch them, and then the flip just switches and they become that character, and it's so fun to watch it go from one to the other. I love it.
Well, I'm a little curious to see that video now.
I'm gonna interrupt you. I'm gonna pull it up.
But y'all have been bringing up some really like big points that I'm like, oh, it's so nice to talk to adult actors. And
Yeah, you are with kids all day.
I teach at a high
Teenagers.
school, so I got some teenagers who they don't understand the fundamentals. So to be able to talk like deeply about this, the last thing I wanted to mention, because Mario, you reminded me of like how your character starts off a certain way. Crafting a character's journey and arc is, I think, one of the most like satisfying things to do when diving into your character, but simultaneously the most challenging because you are getting to know this person on paper for the very first time, and so you're trying to create them, make them as like specific, believable, vivid, real as possible, but then you gotta also make them grow and change in a way that makes sense, deemed by the story, but to still remain consistent in like this new person that's still new to you, but craft that journey is so like you have to have such care put into it, and you just reminded me of like many productions where I have stayed up a little too late trying to figure out how to make that happen, right? And how to get to that moment. I did a play in college. Oh my God, what was it? I think it's Gloria by, I think it's Brandon Jacobs Jenkins. It's a really great play. And my character, I played Dean. And the whole act, the first act is just like an office, right? It's like these horrible people, by the way. They're like evil to each other. They hate each other. And then at the end of the act, one of the characters that they've been like kind of gossiping about the entire time, like comes and it ends in trigger warning, some like his very bad like gun violence. And my character's the only one on that stage at the time who lives, and I like watch it all. So I had to really like sink my way in. Like you talked about that emotion earlier, and just getting him in like that short couple minutes just to that point, up to the end of Act One, was just so difficult and so scary to like try to craft in a way that was respectful and believable, but also like entertaining. And like I don't know, just think that you guys are doing the best thing here by having this place to have this talk.
I mean, you saying
I'm so delighted just to hear this right now.
No, we're glad
you saying even thinking about the how you're gonna get that across being entertaining, that kind of thing. That's something for me. I try not to focus on, only because if I did, then there'd be one more thing that I gotta do this, but I also gotta do it towards it entertaining for them. And the way I approach it is that I'm gonna do the best to make the emotion that this guy's having right now or what he's doing right now the best. And if it comes across, that's great. If somebody could pick that up and see it, great. Because if I'm doing my job the way I'm supposed to be doing my job, it should come across. It doesn't always happen that way. I mean, let me tell you, I had a couple of nights where there was somebody who just a child was laughing at something else and kind of stepped over what my whole scene there, where it's I don't say anything, but I'm just saddened and distraught and faces like I'm crying. I walk off the stage, and that's the end of the show. And right before that, somebody gets arrested. I believe Chino gets arrested, and there's a little boy in the audience says, "Oh, he got arrested!" And everybody starts laughing. But that's right on my, for I'm gonna do my thing, and it's like, so I just did it. I just ignored it, and I just did it, right? And I know that was the best one that I did, but it was one of those that I had to just pretend like that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's really hard, especially when you're trying to get
Live
that
theater's
place.
crazy.
Especially in the smaller and more intimate theater
Sure.
space like that. It's really tough to like immerse yourself. Like I always like, I agree. I'm like, I'm not one who like when I think about my performance, I'm like, I'm doing this to entertain. Yeah, that's what theater is meant to do. I was like, but I think it's more about just giving the audience a fair chance to connect with your character.
Right.
Because,
Yeah.
for every role that I've played that I'm like, oh, I connect with that, there's at least 5 more that I've seen in a play portrayed by somebody else that I've connected with. And so acting can be really like cathartic in that way when an audience member feels your performance and they
Right.
feel what you put on there was a good story for them to feel more seen, more heard in a world that is not always so understanding. So I love everything that you just said. Sorry, I'm like running out of words.
You have to come back now because you just talked so nice about us. You got to come back. And
Yeah.
do another show.
We'll have to have you as a guest speaker again.
Let me figure out something else more important that I can do so that way I'm warranted to come back here. Because I think I might be taking a break after this. These shows, I'm working on 2 shows right now.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I'm already doing prep work for another one for my school year, and so I
Oh, that play's coming up.
Yeah, I'd like to go to bed. So maybe when I'm working on a project that is like,
Yes.
yeah, I will happily come back though. I
Yes.
don't know if I'll have a reason to, other than
We'll
y'all
find a
just-
reason.
Find a way.
If you have a show that is going to be a public, then we need to have you back as the director or the choreographer for that show again.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm gonna plug Aladdin one more time.
yes, please plug in Aladdin one more time.
My campus in particular, Carol, we're doing the Jungle Book
Oh, yeah.
around the same time, so I'm just gonna plug those. and-
Plug away.
Yeah, I know it's been a very Disney-filled semester for me.
Could you give us the dates?
Yes, I'm sorry. Aladdin opens November 9th, and they've got.
It's a very awkward schedule for
It's
the
a
public.
weird schedule, and it's because of the district's auditorium facility has a very strange schedule. But November 9th and 15th, 2 p.m. Aladdin matinees. November 15th, 20th, and 21st at 7 p.m. And if you want to come see my little black box performance of The Jungle Book, it is November 12th, 13th, and 14th at 7:30 in the Carroll High School black box.
If you could please make sure to send us both of those so that we can post them with the interview, please.
Yeah, I
Yes.
gotcha.
Have you guys ever wondered how many actors it takes to screw in a light bulb?
How many actors it takes to screw in a light bulb?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
It takes 10. 1 to hold the light bulb, 9 others to say it should be me up there.
I was like, I think I've heard that one before, but I
Funniest so far.
that was even better.
That was good.
That was good.
So good. All right. Well, with that, I guess we'll be closing it out. Thank you again, Mr. Besse, for being
you.
here today. We really appreciate it. And with that, stay creative.
Stay creative,
Till next
everybody.
time, guys.
Next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All opinions and comments expressed by the hosts and guests of this podcast are solely those of the individual speakers and do not represent the views or positions of any theater or theatrical organization with which they may be affiliated.